Much to discuss with Glover. Guys, let's hit the theme song and kick this show off, huh?
Spin it.
Take 12 if you want to run uncut. Yeah. Unapologetic from the jump. Yeah. And no politics in this club. Just dirt from the streets and the creeks in the mud. Take 12. Best podcast for the Seahawks. #1 sports talk. Yeah, we got it on live. Take 12. Every episode 12 hot takes. And we reppin' for Seattle, my place.
It's the Take 12 podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm lifelong Seahawk fan Brett Davern. He is Seahawks legend Lofa Tatupu, and joining us on this episode is NFL legend. He played for several teams, including the Detroit Lions, which is what he's here mostly to talk about. He also currently hosts or co-hosts a podcast about the Detroit Lions on the Believe Network, Believe in Lions. Believe, of course, spelled our way, Lofa.
BLEAV.
That's right. That's right. It's Glover Quin, everybody. Welcome to the show. Here's my applause. There it is. The Take 12 podcast, everybody, is proudly brought to you by Delta Airlines. Go to delta.com anytime you fly. It's how we fly around here. It's how you should fly out there. Sign up for the 12 status if you're a true blue Seahawk fan, or if you just want to take advantage of the Seahawks getting you air miles. Sign up for their 12 status, because for every passing yard the Seahawks throw this season, you get a mile. So that's at least 4 or 5 or 8,000 extra miles this year, depending on how this receiving core catches fire in week 2 and beyond. As I said, everybody, Glover Quin joining the show, and let's break down these Lions, guys. Glover, I mean, how are the Lions? No, you know what? No, sorry, Glover. Lofa. How are the Seahawks going to stop the Lions from picking us apart the way that the Rams did?
Oh, man, they have a ton of weapons. So right now, I don't know. I'm hoping they're as injured as we are right now. And I never wish for injuries because I had a lot of them in my day. But it's a tall task, man. Goff and that offense, I mean, it was a shootout last year, right? 48-45 and something crazy. No one stopped anybody last year. But that revamped, Lions defense, I mean, they looked the part. And Glover, you got to like what you saw against Kansas City in week 1. And then you get to come home after and face a Seahawks team that is kind of reeling right now with both of our tackles out. So,
I mean, we're reeling, they're reveling. Glover, it's all good in Lion Land, right? You guys come out, you beat the Chiefs, and now Seahawks are coming in after what they did week 1 and into your guys' home spot. And season tickets are flying off the shelf. I mean, it's all good in Lion Land, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. And, for the last, going back to last year, for the last 11 games, it's been good, right? They've been playing well. They ended the season on a good note, had a pretty good offseason as well. Revamped the secondary, brought in some guys that could make plays, some veteran leadership back there as well. And came into training camp, had a good training camp. Didn't play any of the starters in any of the preseason games. And that was kind of worrisome to me that none of those guys played in the preseason. But they came out week 1 against the Chiefs and, defensively, they looked good. They held Patrick Mahomes down, and we could say he didn't have Travis Kelce, and he didn't. And Tony dropped some big time passes, but that's a part of the game. You can't fault the Lions for that. That's just how it works. So they went into Arrowhead Stadium and got a win. And Jared Goff continued to play well. Go back to last year, going down the stretch. I think he had like 15, 16 touchdowns, no interceptions. And so, Lofa knows when the offense isn't turning the ball over,
huge.
And you're controlling the clock and not giving the other team extra possessions, it makes playing defense that much easier because you just got to go out there and get a stop, and then your offense can methodically move the ball, and eventually they're going to score some points. And that's what happened in the Chiefs games, and they were able to outlast those guys. So, Seattle struggled a little bit last game, especially on third down. Cross the middle, dig routes, and things like that.
Yep.
And that's where the Lions like to attack. Amon-Ra St. Brown coming across the middle. They got the new tight end, different guys. They spread the ball around a lot. So it could be a good game. Like you said, last year, nobody stopped anybody. Going off of week one, it seemed like the Lions will have a little advantage going into this game. But we all know you got to go out and play the game, and, we'll see who shows up.
Well, Lofa, what scares you more here? I mean, take your pick, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown on offense for them, or Aiden Hutchinson on defense for them, or I'll throw Jared Goff into the mix, because going back to his Rams days, Goff always has good days against the Seahawks, or not always, but has had, look, we just faced Stafford, and they're very similar, just kind of like accurate guys who get the ball out, and they know what they're doing. I mean, he was the number one pick in the draft going back in the day. So who scares you more, Lofa?
Right now it's Hutch. With both of our tackles out, it's that secondary and Hutch. I think that really tilts in their favor. I think Lucas just went on short-term IR. Cross is not going to make it, is what it sounds like. He's got a toe issue. We signed Jason Peters, 20th year in the league, who is an absolute savage. I hope he's ready to go right now. But chances are he's going to take a week or two to get acclimated to the offense and everything. So right now, Hutch scares me the most. But just to your point, I don't know if you caught this game up here, but Stafford was cupless in Seattle, no Cooper Kupp, and still shredded us apart. So, it's Goff put up 45 points last year, and that is a worry as well. But I would say definitely Hutch in that defense is really what.
Well, then how do the Seahawks slow Hutch down then? They're going to have to give guys help, right? So double teams. What do they do schematically?
You just got to try to establish the run at least a little bit, and it's tough without those two guys. And I know I keep coming back to that, but that's where the whole game took a turn for the worse. We were up 13-7 until they went out, and we had probably 70 or 60 of Walker's K9's rushing yards came in the first half. He only got like 2 carries after that. We couldn't find our rhythm, couldn't find our pace. So quick screens. I'm not saying go all trick plays, but quick screen, that's another extension of the run game, a way to get out there. Just pick it up and throw it out to DK, see who wants to tackle him, and things of that nature. That's really how you get back on track.
Yeah. Glover, without using the word – sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, to that point, another way to help would be you look at what the Jets had to do on Monday night. The defense – if Seattle's defense can slow the Lions' offense down, that would allow you to stick to the running game longer. If the defense continues to struggle and they fall down 14 points, 21 points early in the game, now you can't go to the run game, and now it's just a feeding frenzy for those rushers. So the defense has to show up as well to take some pressure off those tackles. And nobody will probably think like that, but if the defense keep the game close, you see what happened with the Jets. They were able to keep the game close with turnovers from Buffalo, and then all of a sudden Zach just puts together one drive, tie the ball game up, and now punt return wins it for you.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, Glover, you NFL fans, of course, know Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not sure Seahawks fans get to see him play as much as they'd like to all the time or whatever. But so, you see him without using the word motor. What makes him so good?
Without using the word motor, I would say wheel. Wade Phillips used to always tell us, the will to prepare has to be as big as the will to win. And, he seems to have a will to want to win. He works hard in practice. You see how he goes about his business. He shows up in the games and he works. I saw him rushing the passer. I saw him dropping in coverage and chasing down a pass on the other side of the field. And we all know that was, that's week one, right? Everybody's excited to play in week one. You see some of the most craziest hustle plays that you will see all season in week one because everybody's so excited. But the thing about Aiden, he brings that each and every week. So I would expect to see him go out this week just like last year. He didn't have the sack numbers in week one, And then he came back and had 3 sacks against the Commanders last year in week 2. So with the tackles being out, obviously we kind of know as athletes, we kind of know, right? We kind of feel certain things. He's thinking back, you know what? Last season I started the season off. I didn't have any sacks in week 1. I came back and I had 3 sacks in week 2. This season I started the season off. You know, I didn't get any sacks, but I had a lot of pressures. I impacted the game. Week 2 is going to be my week, right? They're missing some tackles. So he's coming into this game ready to be at home, playing in front of the fans. I expect him to have 2 to 3 sacks this game.
Ugh, well,
let's hope history does not repeat itself. But Glover, who else are you impressed with on that side of the ball?
Defensively?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a defensive back. So, I mean, what C.J. Gardner-Johnson did, last weekend, in week 1, just being a vocal leader. I went out and watched him practice, being a physical leader. I saw him making plays in practice. He comes back, he makes those same plays in the game, his tackling. And then just, they add Cam Sutton, getting a veteran at the corner position. People don't realize just what having a veteran at a position can do for things like that. You look at last week, they played against Patrick Mahomes, and I know they don't have all the same guys, but man, when have you seen a game where Patrick Mahomes don't have a completion, a big play over 60-some yards to where it just takes your heart, right? So to be able to keep those off of you and force a team to go the long route, I was impressed with the secondary. I was impressed with those guys, and the rookie Brian Branch, having a big pick 6 like that. The moment wasn't too big for him on opening night against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I really like that secondary, and obviously the coordinator's Aaron Glenn. He was a defensive guy, secondary guy. So I really like what they're doing with the secondary. If they can keep the good coverage combined with a good pass rush, it could be good for both of those units.
Well, and Joseph. Oh, sorry.
No.
And Joseph too. I don't think that guy's ever gotten enough credit.
No. I mean, he had a phenomenal year last year, and he had a great week 1. So between the two of those guys and the pass rush, I mean, I saw probably 3 interceptions they could have had in week 1 that I was just sitting there just jumping up and down like, guys, go intercept the ball. Like, what are you doing? And so I'm sure they looked at those things, and this week they'll hopefully be looking – to make some of those plays. So hopefully, offensively, we can force you guys to get into where you have to throw it, and the secondary can make some plays. Because if not, like Lofa was saying, if you can keep the run game going, get the screen passes, get the quick passes, then that kind of takes the secondary out of it from making a lot of interceptions because the ball's coming out so quickly, right? Mm-hmm. But it works hand in hand. If we can get a couple points, now you got to push the ball down the field a little bit, and gives you an opportunity to make plays, although you're going against, DK Metcalf and some of those other guys. So,
yeah. Well, we talked about Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and so I mean, watch out, Seahawk fans, if you were scared of Puka Nacua after last week. But what about some other offensive weapons? Fantasy owners were wondering why they didn't see more of Gibbs, but Montgomery also as a back. I mean, you guys are just deep there as well.
Oh yeah, I think the running backs are really good, and I think David Montgomery is the running back that the Lions love to have, meaning they don't want to put up 40 points in the first half. They want to have 40, 45 by the end of the game, but they want to consistently just wear you down, right? The big O-line, and just consistently you look up, man, they got a touchdown, they got a field goal, they got a touchdown, they got a touchdown. Now it's 21 points at halftime, and then it's 28, then it's 31, then it's another 34, and then it's a touchdown, it's 41, and you look up and they're scoring 40 points a game, right? So that's kind of what they like from David Montgomery, a guy that can just get you 3 yards here, 4 yards here, break out a 6-yarder, just kind of grind you down. And then Jahmyr Gibbs is the change of pace guy. He's going to come in and just absolutely blaze on the outside. You put him out in the screen game, in the pass game. So I think they got a good mix of what they like. And I think the game plan and what they really felt like they had to do to go in the Arrowhead and get a win, I think David Montgomery was a guy that probably they wanted to get more carries to. But I think coming home in front of the fans on turf, I think we'll see Jahmyr Gibbs get 15 to 16 touches this week.
That's what I'm nervous about, Lofa, right? Like, as soon as he didn't get a lot of touches last week, I thought, that means he'll get some in week 2.
I mean, and I
so
know
hopefully the Seahawks are up to the task. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because they have all those weapons on offense, but don't fool yourself. Dan Campbell's the head coach of this team. I'm old enough to have played against him, Glover. That's how old I am. Twice on 2 different teams. And he loves to grind it out. You know, he was a good receiving tight end that also found his way as a hell of a blocking tight end. He did whatever it took to win. And that spirit, that embodiment, it trickles downhill, and that's what these guys have. So coming home, you know, it's going to be a tough task for the Hawks. And what was the story I heard? Gardner Johnson, he sold Amazon out of the blue ski mask. What's up with the blue ski mask? What do you know anything about that one?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I saw some stuff. You know, C.J. Gardner Johnson, he had a ski mask on in Kansas City after the game, and you know, he just kind of went with it and was like, you know what? We want all the fans, as many people to have on the blue ski mask, right? We're villains, like we're changing the culture around here, and so, hey man, if that's what it takes, if that's what, you know, gets them going, if they take on that persona, and because, you know, it's easy. I think last year, you know, they had a lot of expectations on them coming off of the Hard Knocks. I don't know if they were ready for those expectations. And I think a lot of times when you have those expectations from everybody, you kind of feel like you're in a safe place and like the world is your friend. And once you get beat and everybody talks about you and says you're the same old lines, now you kind of take on that persona as like, all right, it's us against everybody. Like, yeah, people believe in us, but they really don't believe in us. It's kind of like when you plan on at home and you plan on the road, right? When you're at home, you're comfortable, everybody's cheering for you. When you go on the road, it's just a totally different mentality. It's just like, you know, hey, we got fans here, but it's really the guys in this locker room against everybody in the stands, right? And you're going out there to try to quiet the crowd, right? That's kind of how it is. So I think that's the mentality that they're taking, right? We know we have people that expect a lot out of us, but it's really just us in this room. We're the one putting in the work. We don't want to get talked about when we don't play well and perform like we should. So we're just gonna not see ourselves as heroes right now. We're villains, and we're coming to just take what's ours.
Well, we're coming too. I mean, that environment's going to be rocking. That environment's going to be rocking. I mean, you know, it's going to be loud in there, but the Seahawks, they play in a loud place too, and we got weapons also. So, I mean, we're bringing DK. JSN didn't get enough touches in week 1, and so we want to get him some more touches. So some similar storylines with sort of like what we're talking about with Gibbs there. I mean, come on, Lofa. Like, the Seahawks are coming into that house also, and I think we're looking to spoil this homecoming, aren't we? I mean, and how much – is there any social – I mean, you guys both played in the league, so is there a thing as bulletin board material? I mean, can't the Seahawks be motivated, Lofa, by the ski masks in the opposite way of like ruining this party for them?
Oh, absolutely. But I think everything's personal. Like your pride is, you know, it's a bunch of alphas, man. And there's no more motivation you need than the last game coming off a loss. Yeah, I know they're already back working hard today, this whole week, and getting some things figured out. But yeah, they ain't about to just lay down, man. I don't anticipate a 48-45 shootout. I think it's going to be a hard-nosed game from both sides.
I think it's going to be a hard-hitting game, too. The Seahawks are multiple Seahawks. DK is quoted as saying they have a bad taste in their mouth, and Bobby Wagner used the exact same words, bad taste in their mouth. They want to get it out of their mouth, of course, Glover. So, you know, they're coming. Glover, like, what has you nervous about the Seahawks?
Is that right there. They lost. And no NFL team, you know, wants to start out 0-2. Right, the chances of making the playoffs, and I know it's a long season, right? But the chances of making the playoffs when you start out 0-2 is not as good if you can start out 1-1 or at least 2-0, right? Yeah. So I know that Seattle is not going to want to start out 0-2.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
They're going to come in to try to do everything that they can to not start out 0-2. And that could be scary, right? And then you look at the Lions coming off of a big win, right? Being 1-0. You know, hopefully they don't relax. Hopefully they don't come in and not take it personal. Hopefully they don't come in and expect the crowd to get the win for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the game. The crowd is there to cheer. But you got to go out and beat Seattle, and hopefully they come in with the right mindset. Because if not, we all know this is the NFL, right? And it's a big jump. You know, we always talk about how players make a big jump from year one to year two. Well, it's a big jump in a team from week 1 to week 2, because now you got actual game film of the guys that are playing. You know, you go from the preseason kind of looking at stuff, and week 1 is always iffy, right? But now it's week 2. They got a whole game of your play calls and your scheme and what you were trying to do. And so week 2 is always different. So that scares me a little bit, knowing that those guys are going to be desperate to get a win.
How would you go at DK Metcalf?
I mean, you know, we see the same things from DK all the time, man. I mean, you know, and I don't know him personally. I don't know a lot about him other than what I see and what he shows America. And you know, at some point, I'm the type of person where I get tired of hearing apologies for doing the same stuff over and over and over. Like, stop losing your temper and then just coming back and apologizing. Well, I lost my temper. Well, you did that last time. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, you just got to frustrate him. You know, in my opinion, he seems like a front runner to me, like a guy where if he gets going, he'll light you up for 200 yards easy. But if you can get under his skin, get him frustrated, you know, they go 3 and out a couple times and he's not getting the ball or things like that, I think he'd get frustrated, and now he's out of his game. And I feel like that energy just infiltrates the whole team, the sideline, and it's just not a good look. At least to me. I don't know him personally. I don't know the whole situations personally. But just from the outside looking in, it seems like when he's going, he'll hit you 14 catches, 200 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
When he's not going, it's not good. And
yeah, that's what we were kind of saying, right, Lofa? I mean, I look for DK to bounce back in this one, though, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think the frustration stems from, you know, just when you're losing, right? And you're not a big part of the game plan, or you're not getting the targets. And you know, you're right. You know, at some point we got to learn from past mistakes. And, you know, I know Pete's having conversation with him, Bobby Wagner, all the leaders in there, but also DK is a leader himself now. He's established, you know, he's one of the best players in the NFL. And so he'll get, I believe he'll get it corrected, and he'll definitely get back on track with the targets and game plan, though.
Well, Glover, we know you got to get out of here. You got to run, but we got to get a score prediction from you before you get out of here. We do them on our show here, and so we got to know what you think. The score prediction challenge is brought to you guys by our friends at Simply Seattle. Go to simplyseattle.com for all your Northwest sports apparel needs and things like that. The score prediction challenge, Lofa, and everybody, though, has changed. And let me make this announcement. So instead of picking a winner each week, we are going to compound this thing until someone nails it. And then there will be a grand prize of who knows how big it will get. So Simply Seattle, Lofa, check this out. They've authorized us to set it at $50 per week. And so we keep adding that up until someone wins. So at the end of the season, if no one has nailed it, I mean, the last game could be worth almost $1,000 or something. I can't do the math with my shoes on. But it's so $50 starting this week. If nobody nails it, it'll be $100 next week. If nobody gets that, $150 the next week, and so on until someone wins it. And what you win is a gift card with that amount to our friends at Simply Seattle. So, man, it could be a shopping spree, Lofa. But Glover, what do you think the score will be when the dust settles on Sunday?
I'm going to go, last year was 48, 45.
Yeah.
I'm going to go this year 34-14 Lions.
Okay. Uh-oh, Lofa. Can you imagine the two of us sitting here after that game? My head might explode.
I might take a week off.
No.
I might take my bye week early.
Oh, my gosh. You guys can find Glover on the Believe in Lions podcast on the Believe NFL Sports Network. Glover, thanks so much for joining Take 12, man. Enjoy the game.
All right, man. Thank you guys, man.
Well, there goes Glover Quin. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Man, we get to talk to cool people.
I do.
Well, you talk to these people all the time. This is so fun.
Long before, I played football, I was a fan of football. And so when you get to, that's a guy that, like you said, you heard his backstory of he played everywhere and how much more about the game he learned when he moved inside to nickel and then safety, and how Wade Phillips, a brilliant mind, saw his ability to create opportunities at safety. So he moved him there. And the guy, I think he played 11 or 12 years for two organizations. Unbelievable talent, and the guys just racked up the stats.
Man, I was trying to get him to give us some secrets, though, because we got guys on our secondary that are moving around from position to position, but he wouldn't give anything up. I was like, how do we stop you guys? He's like, nah, I'm not telling you. I was good at it, so I'm not giving up anything.
But if you listen, though, he spoke about the details of the nuances of each position. So you go to nickel, you're not just covering a guy. Maybe if it's man coverage, but if they run the ball, you have a gap responsibility. You have a place you have to fit in the line of scrimmage. And I don't know how many guys, take it to that level. And that's why he was such a great player.
Totally. We got to get to our score predictions. He did his just now, so we might as well do ours. And then we'll take a commercial break. And then we have a big surprise, which I didn't even say at the beginning of the episode, because producer Katie has just informed me that we get to talk to Jordyn Brooks. So a lot's coming up on this episode. Stay tuned, everybody. Lofa, how do you see it? Glover predicts a blowout win for the Lions.
He didn't hold anything back.
There's no respect for the podcast, no respect for Take 12 at all. Just comes in and dumps that one on us. Well, how do you see this one going, though?
I wanted to say, Glover, we're family. We're Believe family. But I think, both teams, especially the Hawks, going to fight tooth and nail for this one. Like you said, slobber knocker, bloodbath. They're going to leave it all out there. And I'm bringing it down from that 48-45 total that was last year's shootout to just an all-out brawl. And I'm going with the Hawks. We cannot start 0-2. So we're going to get the win this week. And I'm going 28 to 27. I feel like someone might miss a kick over there.
Oh, at the end?
Whenever.
In the middle. Okay, all right.
Missing an extra point.
Well, but is this game it's a 1-point game, so it's obviously a nail biter all the way down to the end.
Yeah, I'm prepared to sweat like I normally do.
Oh man, here we go. It truly is Seahawks season if that's what's going on Sunday. There's a great meme of the Seahawks, it's like a graph of a Seahawks game, and it's like leading up to the game, it's just pure excitement. During the game, it's I don't want anything to do with this, and then hopefully right at the end, it's celebrating a win, which is normally how it goes for all of us. Okay, dare I do it? Dare I do it? You guys know I want a Seahawks win more than anybody, maybe, but and that maybe the only way to get one, Lofa.
Reverse the curse.
Possibly the only way to get one is to predict that we don't. Because I predict that we do all the time, and then I'm so disappointed. I'm going to try something here that I have never tried on the show. But like we were talking to Glover, I think the Seahawks they're so motivated based off what happened last week, but then especially with all of this fanfare that these Detroit Lions think they got going on up there. I think the Seahawks go up there and just and take care of business. It might not be pretty, but I think we spoil the party up there. However, I will predict that the Lions I don't know if I can do it.
Can't even say it, can you?
Katie, can I do this? Am I allowed to do this?
No.
Oh, but if you say no and then it doesn't go our way, then everyone will go. I think we should try. We should try. So you guys know what I'm saying here, right? But I think, so here's what's up. My official score prediction for this game is the Lions 19, the Seahawks 18.5. But you know what I mean.
Disrespectful.
You know what I mean.
Well, hopefully, like we said, we reverse the curse. But if not, at least Brett gets to say he was right.
Which I would take no joy in.
I know you won't, and it's going to break both our hearts. But
like that line from Top Gun, I take no joy. He called no joy. None at all. Oh my gosh, everybody. Lofa, let's take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side of that, we'll have our conversation with Jordyn Brooks, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Sounds great, partner.
Well, that is all the time that we have for you Seahawk fans today, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the Take 12 podcast. I'm Brett. He's Lofa. A lot of ground covered today, man. Hey, Wiener Schnitzel, everybody. Wiener Schnitzel, the original sponsor. They're still here, and you still need to go there. Do something a little different for lunch. Go grab a chili dog or a chili burger or a root beer float or a corn dog. The mini corn dog.
It's like we're finishing each other's sentences.
This is so cute.
We finish each other's sandwiches.
Sandwiches. New tagline.
Frozen reference for all you parents out there. I was gonna say Lofa's favorite, the mini corn dogs. Wiener Schnitzel. Go in and mention the Take 12 podcast. Get a free small soda with any other purchase. Did you hear that? Get a free soda with any other purchase by mentioning the Take 12 podcast at either Wiener Schnitzel location in Fife or Everett. Go in and say hi to Dom and the team. That's it for the show today, everybody. Don't forget to enter the score prediction challenge. Don't forget to email us if you have anything funny to say. Don't forget to hit us up on social media. It's at Take 12 Pod. Lofa, hands in the middle. Let's break it down.
I broke it down last time, right? So I think it's your turn.
What? Come on, you're our captain.
Yeah,
you're our player captain.
All right. Well, we're going on the road. The show goes on the road, as do we later on, next month. But before that, hey, come on, you got it back on the winning track, baby. All of us. So Hawks on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hawks. The show goes on. I'm not fucking leaving.
Lofa, look at this. We got Jordyn Brooks joining the meeting from the facility, fresh off of a walkthrough. Jordyn, thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me on. Absolutely.
Hey, first of all, right off the bat, just congratulations to you, man. Working your way back off that injury. I mean, your timeline was longer. I mean, just coming back like that, man, is amazing.
Yeah. I just keep telling people the same thing. Like, I thought I did the normal protocol, like rehab protocol. I didn't feel like I did anything extraordinary. And God did the rest, honestly. And so I'm going to continue to give God his credit because without him, honestly, coming back that fast wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah, it was really incredible. I mean, I know I had a long injury history, my man. And what was the process like for you going through it? Because I know for me, the biggest thing coming out of it, I got emotionally stronger, more so than physically, and how special was just getting back on that field for the first time. Can you explain that feeling, that process, what it felt like to be out there in front of the 12s again?
That feeling was crazy for me. I got emotional like right before the game because I'm thinking to myself like, "Hey, I'm really back out here," and I only honestly had maybe 2 practices with pads on, and I'm about to play a real game right now. And so after missing OTAs and all the training camp and then just being out for 7 months, like, I don't know, it was surreal to me, but it was also like another emotion pulling out of me was just being happy to like be playing football. I know you know, Lofa, like just sitting on the sidelines and watching guys, watching them compete, that's probably the worst thing if you're a true competitor. And so for me, watching them all training camp was hard. It was hard. So being out there for the first time was great.
Yeah, it tears at the heart, man. It's special to be back there with your brothers, like you're saying, and you rattled off 12 tackles. I mean, possibly even look faster. How did it feel being out there, as terms of like game feel and being back in the environment?
It felt great. I'll be honest with you. Like that first drive, I was scared. I was scared. And what I mean by scared is just like, man, damn, I'm really out here. My knees are gonna be all right. So you definitely gonna have those thoughts. Like I'll be a liar to tell you if I didn't have those thoughts at first. But luckily, the first drive was like 20 plays, and so eventually I got settled in and I stopped thinking about it. But it felt good after that. It really did.
Well, speaking of emotions and thoughts and everything, how's the vibe in the building? What's the mood around the team right now going into week 2 in Detroit?
I think the mood is what it should be. Nobody's too down on themselves, but nobody's happy go lucky at the same time. And I think having Bobby back has done us a lot as far as getting the mood and the vibe right in practice for us to go out and attack this week. When you bring that type of voice back in and influence, the young guys really cleave on to that. And they understand the importance of what a Wednesday practice means and what a Thursday practice means. And we got to kill these 2 days because, the opponent that we have, they're not, they're ready. They're ready to go. And so the vibe is good.
Yeah.
The vibe is what it should be.
Well, the vibe in Detroit is going to be off the hook. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he brought up these ski masks, and Amazon is sold out of these blue ski masks, and all these Detroit fans are going to be wearing them. And he said in his quote that he wants the Lions to be villains, but from a Seahawk fan perspective, I mean, I want my Seahawks to be villains and go in there and ruin this party for these guys, right?
Yeah. That's the mindset that we're coming in with. I know it's a long season and 17 games, but nobody wants to start 0-2. And so it's kind of desperation mode right now. It's like we got to win this one. And it starts by the way that we prepare. I know some guys right now, it's lunchtime, they're meeting right now. It's serious business. And we know that the team that we're playing, they mean business as well. And so it'll be a fun matchup. It's going to be a great environment to go in there and play. It's going to be loud just how we like it. And so I can't wait to go compete.
Well, Lofa and I were talking about before you got on, that kind of experience going on the road. Like me as an actor, we get to go shoot stuff on location sometimes. You guys have away games, but like sometimes Lofa, and you were talking about it, you kind of circle the wagons or get with your guys and go have dinner. And it's kind of, you guys can get real tight on the road from a chemistry perspective, kind of.
Yeah, Brooksy, I don't know about you, but as much as it's fun playing at home, with the 12s and how electric that environment is, I love nothing more than taking my defense on the road and special teams. Got to pack your defense and your special teams and help your offense out because it's going to be a long day for the offense in terms of crowd noise and having to adjust to those variables. But I love nothing more than going there and shutting them up, just silencing the crowd. So I look forward to seeing what you guys got planned. And I know, they're a tough team. What kind of, from their offensive perspective, have you seen that they've done really well?
Yeah, they block really well. They got a good O-line. They got a good running game. And they also got some receivers that can make plays. I think they're well-rounded all the way. They mix up a lot of their personnel, so they'll come out in 11, they'll come out 12, 21, 21H, and they'll try to, get us kind of thrown off with the personnels, but a lot of it is the same look, just depending on who they got a tight end.
Different guys, right?
But they're well-rounded just from watching tape. So it's going to be a fun matchup, like I said. But I think if we do our part, we'll be just fine.
Man, well, we're looking forward to watching it, man.
To Brett's point, do you guys have any, you and Bobby and the linebackers, do you guys have any rituals in terms of like linebacker dinner or when you go on the road or anything that you guys might do?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of do it during the week.
Okay.
Like every Tuesday, get up here on the off day. Linebackers, we got to meet. We got to watch tape, bring in food, kind of in a relaxed setting, but we still breaking down ball. And then Wednesday morning, we got to be the first in the building. That'd be at 5:30 in the morning. Watch some more tape, get a lift in, and make sure that we starting the day off right because we got to lead the pack.
Nice.
And so, and in road games, we're gonna try to switch something up this year. Bobby being back his second stint. So we're gonna try to make something up. So we'll see what that's like on the road games. Like you said, the road is always fun. I think it's always an opportunity to get closer with each other, especially like on the back of the plane, like everybody playing cards, talking, watching film together. So I like the road vibes. Hopefully that can work to our benefit.
How about you personally before a game? Lofa and I always talk about like you might not be superstitious, but you might be a little stitious. You got something that you do personally before each game?
Oh yeah, I think everybody get a little superstitious. Like you never want to break that routine that you got, or a certain thing that you do. I try to break out of that, but most of the thing I do is just make sure that the little things, it's the smallest things. Like make sure I make up my bed. You know what I'm saying? Like right after I wake up, just make up my bed. Make sure I pray. Listen to a certain song. It's the same song I've been listening to for like the past 5 years. So
what's your jam?
In there, man. I can't get that away.
Okay. Mine was Can't See Me by Tupac. I know he's a little older, but Can't See Me.
What's the vibe on it, Jordan? You want to give us what's the genre at least?
It's not even. You wouldn't even believe what it is. It's like I'll tell you what it is. Right. It's like it's almost like small music. It's not even a song. It's small music. But really, what it is, I get too worked up sometimes to where I need to calm down. Mm-hmm. And listening to that music kind of evens me out. So
nice.
So I don't know if Pete used to show a video every year about Kobe Bryant and talking about not getting too up, with the highs and the ebbs and flows, and never being too low, just being focused and centered. And so that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, so I always had, ever since I was in, I think it was sixth grade, 96, sixth or seventh grade. I'm aging myself right now. Had to listen to that song.
Wasn't even born yet.
had to listen to that song by Tupac to get it going. But you're right. If the vibe was up or down, if I was too up, I had to listen to some reggae to bring me down. My guy, shout out to Kali Buds, or just hardcore rap or even heavy metal to get going on the games where I was like, all right, I need a little more juice right now. So no, that speaks to me. I know what you're saying, brother.
Well, man, that place is going to be juiced on Sunday. I'm going to be juiced on my couch. I know you guys are going to be juiced up to go play. And Jordan, we know you got to go lift and all that, man. So we just really appreciate your time, and give some love to the guys back in the locker room. We're behind them. We're supporting you guys, and can't wait to watch you guys hit the field on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys for having me, man. Have a blessed day.
Cool.
Brooksy, stay blessed, brother. I'm here. Anytime you want to watch film, do whatever, you let me know.
Yes, sir. I'll be hitting you. Appreciate you.
All right, brother.
Later, man. Thanks, Jordan.